Hello everybody and welcome to Tips December Day 9. Today I wanted to talk about my personal favorite foundations for the past while. Basically this will be divided in two parts. First part will be very pale foundations, that means NW NC 05 to 10, and then tomorrow will be NW NC 10 to 15. So I won't go into very great detail, but what I can tell you is that I'm working on improving the swatches and how to find the information of certain foundations in my blog, and I'll probably turn my blog into a website so that you can easily access by name, by undertone, or by shade family. That's like NCNW 05 to 10. Sorry, I just swallowed my candy. Like, I was actually having a candy in my mouth so that I won't cough, and then I'm swallowing it, so I hope I'm not coughing in this video too much, because I have still a sort of very dry throat. Like, everything has been getting dry, like my skin, my hair, my lips, my throat. Yeah, anyways, don't want to bore you with that, but like I said, hopefully that little project of mine will be done by December. That would be my dream, like to launch it in January 2015, the 1st of January. So keep an eye on that, because for me, New Year's Eve has always brought good luck. No, not good luck in the sense that I'm getting stuff, but in the sense that the stuff that I have resolved myself into doing on New Year's Eve, I always somehow manage to do them throughout the year. I've done goals on all the rest of the year, but usually New Year's Eve means something to me, because there was a life-changing event for me that started over a decade ago, and that was me getting into bodybuilding, and that just pulled me out of the darkness and helped me go through so many things. And yeah, for me it is something very important. It's when I made a big life change, a big life switch. I was getting very ill, I was morbidly obese, and I've had my ups and downs. I've lost a lot of weight, I've gained it back because of eating disorders, but finally I got that under control, and I'm feeling like, I don't know, that's why I want to release it on New Year's Eve, because it's something that means a lot to me, and it's extra special. I don't know if for anybody out there it's too cliche or whatever, but for me it just feels very special, and I want to do something special for you guys. Therefore, you could be looking up for that. I will be adding also a lot more swatches and a lot more goodies, and also this time everything that I have will be swatched against NC10 from MAC and NW10 from MAC, so you can really see what I mean when I say that this shade is NC07 or whatnot. And you can come to your own conclusions and make your own informed decisions without necessarily me telling you, so you can just see it and visually judge. Anyways, today I'm gonna start out with the from NCNW 10 to 15. Sorry, just to give you an idea, this is what I got in terms of foundations that are my favorite right now. And if you've seen yesterday, then those are the ones that I don't want to keep because I'm not using. But everything else here, pretty much I'm using more or less on a regular basis, or some of them have some emotional value to me because of what they meant. Like, for example, let's start off with Bobbi Brown Luminous Moisturizing Foundation. This is a old but goodie. It is in the shade Alabaster 00 and it was bought in June 2008. Gosh, it smells really good still. There is some left in there. I mean, really, really little. But the point why... Sorry. The point why I keep this is because it has a emotional meaning to me. It was when I decided I wanted to review pale foundations. And it was also a breakthrough for me as a starting makeup artist, or I had already been doing it for a while, but I wasn't really into like that deep into it. I just knew some brands and I had bought some stuff from MAC and I had got a very pale foundation from MAC, but it wasn't as pale as this one. And it was, let's say, the first time that my face didn't look too dark, and it was a revelation for me. It was like when I found this, I was like, I really need to do this. I really need to review foundations for people. I really need to, if you wish, specialize in pale foundations, although I'm not sure such thing exists. But it was this one that brought about my real passion for foundations and correct color tone for complexions, especially when talking about very pale complexions. Usually the mid-range of skin tones is what gets the most attention, the most variety, the most different undertones. There are now some specialized for very dark skin tones that does very beautiful variety of undertones and depths of darker skin tones, but there isn't really for very, very pale skin tones, mainly because it is always assumed that pale people want to be tanned or want to change their skin tone. And I mean, yeah, sometimes it is nice to have variety, sometimes it's nice to have a tan or a fake tan, whichever way, but often or at least in my experience, it is something that you just have to embrace. And when you learn to embrace that, you sort of like, I don't know, it becomes something unique about you. It's something, a feature that people remember about you. And it is not in a bad way, but it is just the way that you are. And yeah, you can get like a fake tan and whatnot, but those are just temporary, because usually if you're very, very pale, chances are you don't naturally tan, or you don't develop a tan, you don't get dark. Therefore, you will have to rely on fake tanners, and that is a lot of work. I mean, I have done it, and it is a lot of work, and often it looks bad. And I think that I have developed a very good method to overcome like all the complications like blotchiness and oranginess and whatnot, but still it is a lot of work, and still it doesn't look like if you would have naturally tanned. Anyways, enough rambling. This was my first love, that's why I keep it here. It has an emotional value to me, and probably someday I'm gonna frame it because it has meant a lot to me. Next, the one that you've heard me blab a lot about it lately, I hope so, is the Dior Star foundation in shade 010. Everything about it's beautiful, from the packaging, which has a slight iridescence, from the pump, which I really, really like. I like foundations that come with a pump. It's much easier, much more practical and hygienic. from the cap, from everything. I love the coverage, I love the finish, I love how long it lasts, how well it controls the oil. It has sunscreen, but I don't rely on this for sunscreen. It isn't very pale. Again, as I said, today we're talking about NCNW 10 up to 15. So those are like this one was closer to a 10, but this is more on the mid-range. It's not exactly very pale, but I don't really mind it because I absolutely love the formulation. And next there's Glitter Pour, their fluid foundation in shade, oh, what's the shade? Oh, I-10. It is a nice foundation. It is very luxurious and very pricey, therefore I don't wear it that often, but I should probably. Again, more on the NCNW 15 than on the 10. One that I've done a review just recently is the Shuemura, the Light Bulb Foundation in shade 784. Again, this is gorgeous foundation, very brightening. Unfortunately, slightly too yellow for me. But yeah, very gorgeous. Then we have the Peter Thomas Roth Unwrinkled Foundation in Light. This is more towards the NCNW 10 than the 15. It is very beautiful, although unfortunately I don't wear it as much as I ought to. I'm sorry. Then we have another new one, Guerlain Blanc de Perle Bright and Sculpt Foundation in 01 Beige Pal. This is what it looks like. It has 3 shades, so you can basically more or less customize it. You can achieve an NC 10 or a, I would say more of an NC 12, 13, depending on how much of the dark one or the light one you're using. I really love it. Again, probably I don't need to mention that as Muffy's there singing. Yeah, everything that I'm showing you is something that I use and I really enjoy. Next is the Mineralized Moisture Foundation in NW13. This is a new shade. As you can see, it's quite pale. I love it. It has great coverage. It has, it's very moisturizing, very good for the days that you have dry, patchy skin. It doesn't oxidize as badly, or it like barely oxidizes. That's why I love it. Next one is the Suku Cream Fix Cream Foundation in 101. Probably you've heard me ramble about it. It was last year, yeah, around summer last year when I purchased this. It was my all-time favorite. Right now is a Dior Star, but they are very similar in terms of coverage and the finish that they're offering. So I have noticed that I tend to favor that kind of foundation. Again, this is more on the mid-range of shade-wise. Then we have Bobbi Brown foundation stick, like just, yeah, skin foundation stick. This is in the shade 0 Porcelain. They have shade 00, but I didn't find it. This is, again, absolutely gorgeous foundation. As you can see, I've worn a lot of it. Let's see how much I have left. So basically almost half. And I absolutely love it. I'm usually not a fan of stick foundations, but this one is awesome. It has great coverage and it just looks like skin. That's what's the most unbelievable about that foundation. It was my favorite throughout this summer, so that's what I wore the most. Then the Giorgio Armani Maestro Fusion Compact Foundation in shade 2. This is what it looks like. Again, I've worn it quite a lot. This one, I got it for Christmas last year, and yeah, I personally enjoy it. Again, like I said, I'm not big on compact foundations, but this one doesn't really make my skin oilier, and it doesn't cling, like it doesn't patch. Therefore, that's why I like it. And finally, we have the Elam Mineral Powder Foundation that probably you are all tired of hearing me ramble about this product. This is in the shade 1 Alabaster, which is their lightest shade. Again, this is more mid-range in shade-wise, but I absolutely love it. There is nothing that I can do about it. It's absolutely, absolutely gorgeous product. I don't use it on its own. I don't like it. I don't like powder foundations on their own, but I like to layer foundation. So basically a liquid one and then a powder foundation and then perhaps a setting powder if it's very hot or humid. Otherwise I stop at the powder foundation, and I will buff various amounts depending how much coverage I still want or need. But what I love about that foundation is that it doesn't leave your skin flat. And let's see if I can show you. I mean, if you buff it in, you can't really see that it's darker. So it is more of a multi-purpose, like various skin tones can use it. Anyways, this was for my NCNW 10 to 15, and tomorrow I'll be talking more about NCNW 10 to 05. I hope you enjoyed this series, and I hope that you're looking forward my new website that's coming on New Year's Eve. And yeah, let me know on the comments down below which are your favorite foundations in that shade range, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.